Hi, it's me, Brooks. Thank you for joining me on Heal This today. I am really excited, pumped up, fantastic, sweet, beautiful. Dr. Cassandra Heathcote is here with us today. She is a doctor of chiropractic and a yogi, and she just has this zest for life. She just makes me smile every time I see her. And she is also very passionate about holistic healing. So I want to welcome you today. Thank you for being here. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Brooks. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to know you. So it's just fun to be able to catch up and chat.
Yeah.
Yes, I am a doctor of chiropractic. I went to school down in Florida, Palmer College of Chiropractic. And after I graduated in 2023, I moved down to Nashville and found the office, Tennessee Alternative Medicine, where I met you, Brooks. And it's just been such a great space to just be surrounded by so many like-minded people who are invested in holistic health and wellness and just uplift each other to try to just, all dive in and really learn more about how we can heal our bodies in a natural way. And it's just very motivating and powerful. And I'm just happy to be in that space.
Yeah, me too. It
So
is
it's
a
been
really
great.
awesome space. Dr. Carolyn Maxfield, she started Tennessee Alternative Medicine, and it is a wonderful space. Everyone there is awesome, so kind, respectful, constantly lifting each other up and promoting each other and supporting each other. And it's a really great space to be. And I think clients and patients feel that when they come in, for sure. So,
Yeah, it's just you walk in the door and it's such a genuine welcoming environment where we just need that more in the healing community of just a space where you can just show up authentically yourself and just be honest with how you're feeling and have practitioners who are doing their best to advocate for you because that's not usually very common in the space. It's very, with healing, it's a complicated thing. And so figuring out having someone who is trying out of the kindness of their heart to help you through all different aspects
mhm.
is just so priceless. So I'm very honored to be in this space. My last rotation of chiropractic school, I was able to shadow Dr. Maxfield, and that was like a huge blessing and very eye-opening experience to be with her day in, day out, learn all of the treatments and protocols that she does to help these people. And all of her patients love her so immensely.
Mhm.
And she's built this huge community, which
Mhm.
just, attests to who she is as a person. So it's just been such a goal of mine to, have those attributes similar to her and just show up, the best that I possibly can be. And that's all you can do in healing. So very grateful to be there.
Yes, me too. Absolutely. She's a great role model
Yes.
for showing love and compassion for her patients. And that's definitely one of the things. The very first time I walked in there, and I see it on people's eyes all the time when they walk in, they're like, "Whoa, this is so nice and so welcoming." And
Yeah.
all of the practitioners are very kind and welcoming too. They just come right out and they're like, "You're coming with me. Let's go." So it is a great space.
Yes.
So
There's no drama. Like it's just like, how can we
there's
help
no
you? That's
drama.
the
I
best
love it. It's
way to put
amazing to
it.
have,
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing to have that
Yeah.
many people in a space and no drama and so respectful. So, yeah, it's awesome.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about how you got into chiropractic work and how you got here. Tell me a little bit about it.
So, yes, I am from Cleveland, Ohio originally, and my dad's actually a chiropractor. So, I grew up with just always having, when anything would happen, whether I sprained a muscle or, I was having stomach issues or, there was a rash or anything like that popping up, I
Yeah.
was able just to sit there and question why, like try to really think deeper about it. But I just was just taught as a kid to just really think about, why am I feeling this way? And think about little adjustments I can do that I can control, whether it's drink more water, whether it's eat better, whether it's go outside for a walk to get some fresh air. to try to heal my ailments before going and taking, the over the counter medication that's easily prescribed or easily in your kitchen. So it was just always like, oh, this hurts, Dad, what can I do to help heal it? And he would always just kind of be like, okay, like let's think about it, let's get you adjusted, let's get you moving better. And then we can kind of, okay, let's attack it nutritionally. Should we, try this supplement to help calm your nervous system down? Should we try, like drinking more water or eating organic foods or once again, deep breathing? Like there's just a bunch of stuff. So I was
Right.
always like around that atmosphere. And it just continued throughout my life. I've just always been an athlete and I've loved, pushing myself physically and mentally. And being grown up with that base, it just followed me out through life that I knew I wanted to have, to be in that position to help other people in those aspects, because it truly, when you're young, you're open, you're vulnerable to anything. So finding role models is not as easy, especially I feel like for women. We have so many things that are going on in our bodies and are changing, and there's not a lot of resources out there that are going to help you, or just role models to look up to, that, okay, there's another way to do things versus just falling by the book, taking, Advil, Tylenol, whatever's in on the
Mm-hmm.
kitchen. Like there's other ways you can heal yourself. And so I kind of took that throughout school, and then I decided to be a chiropractor myself. And
Mm-hmm.
um, throughout chiropractic school, I, continued to have things going on in my body and wanted to learn, how can I heal this myself? And I reached out to, I'm a very big believer in go and try anything yourself, see how you feel with it, like test it.
Right.
You can make your opinions about things, but be a patient. Like, don't go and shadow an office. Don't just go, read something online. Like, go through a protocol, like, go and try,
Experience it.
like for example, for me, I went and did nutrition response testing down in Florida. I was
Right.
having, some, like PMS symptoms, like stomach issues, stuff like that. And I wanted to kind of get it regulated. And yes, it's definitely an experience you have to be open minded to, but it changed my life. Like it truly was just a support that I can go and talk about all of my symptoms and then just have a way to be treated simply, and just have like an answer, on ways that like, okay, let's try these, these vitamins, and then we'll take the next step. And it truly like altered my perspective on that, and which led me to Dr. Maxfield. I kind of found was seeking, a chiropractor who had the nutritional background, not just what you eat, but how you can kind of support the internal organs,
Right.
your nervous system, all the things. So it led me to that, and I went to chiropractic school, obviously started shadowing Dr. Maxfield and loved it. And, I'm still in that space and still kind of in the part of my career where I'm trying to figure out where I want to dive into next. And obviously,
Mm-hmm.
nutrition and nutrition response testing has been a huge, part of my life. So I'm trying to kind of finesse that next step. But what really altered, the full dive in on my own lifestyle even further was, back in 2019. My dad was my best friend, the OG, Dr. Heathcote was, diagnosed with cancer. So he had cancer in his tonsils that's that spread to his like, throat, and the chemo and radiation doctors, like they were saying that, okay, we can get it all fixed with just a couple rounds of chemo and radiation. And that kind of just led him down a really dark path. And it really wasn't the full solution. And what he really honed in and did a deep dive on himself, and he was like, how can I further benefit my body and, treat it to the best of its ability while it's going through all of this stuff. And I think
Mm-hmm.
him diving in and fixing his, nutrition, like doing acupuncture, massage, emotional work, nutritional work, exercising, doing all these things
Mm-hmm.
externally are truly what saved him. And like cutting out alcohol, like all these things that he
Right.
was, he's like, okay, I'm not going to let this disease become me and take over my life. And it was just such an inspiration for me to watch him go down that dark path and be like, I'm done. And then did a full 360 and
Yeah.
deep dove into all things holistic, all things lifestyle,
It's amazing.
which they don't really explain. Preventative medicine is not really talked about as much as it should. When things
Right.
and symptoms arise in your body, like go and attack that, go and seek out alternative care, go find practice. I know it seems expensive in the moment, but it's going to be
Mm,
way more expensive down the line. So
right.
just finding like resources around your area, like just finding people you trust in certain areas of holistic wellness can just be so beneficial in the present day because that's all we have is now. And so, with all of that being said, everything that he put himself through, I just saw it as like an eye opening experience for me to never go down that path. And I mean,
Yep.
granted, it's all in God's hands, but I truly believe like anything that's coming, continuing to dive deeper on ailments in myself. If anything pops up, I'm like, okay, who
Mm,
can I go and use as a resource to try to fix this? And we can't heal alone, is what I've learned. We're
no.
definitely meant to connect with others and,
Right.
you know, find practitioners to help you and be resources throughout your life. Just nothing has to be forever. So even
Right.
with chiropractic, people get scared like, oh,
Hmm.
I don't want to be on a protocol for the rest of my life. Like I don't want to
Right.
commit to something. Like they're scared to commit. And I'm always advocating. I'm like, look, I'm just here to do the best I can to help you improve the issue that you have now.
Right.
And then you see how it feels to feel good, and then you can back away, take some time off, and then use me as
Right.
a resource. Come back to me when you need me. I'm here for you, and we'll figure out the next phase of life because pain truly is temporary. I feel like you go through different seasons
Yep.
and certain ailments pop up, and it's not meant to be there forever. It's just a signal that your body's saying, hey, look at me. There's
Yeah.
something going on.
Right.
How can we solve this together? So it's a long story short on how I kind of have gotten to where I am today, but I
Yeah.
am so passionate about it. I think it's changed my life, and I truly just want to help as many people as I can. And the best way to do that is to fully dive deep on yourself, and that's not always easy, but it's so
No.
worth it. So
Yeah, it's worth it.
those are my initial thoughts.
How awesome is that that you got to be in the kind of environment that asks those questions about our bodies, right? Like,
Yeah,
well, what's going on? How else can we support our body? Maybe we should work on this part and then this part will feel better, things like that. I didn't have that. So I had the type of environment where, I was just given Advil or Tylenol, which, whatever, sometimes you got to take them. But um, I remember it wasn't until I was pregnant with my first baby and thinking about, well, wait, um, I don't want this baby to be taking ibuprofen, and so, or,
hmm
anything else that they're just this pure little body there. And I thought, well, why don't we take it? And asking the questions, because some people are like, well, what's the problem with
yeah,
that? Why don't we just take it? And what are the effects it's going to have on our body and things like that. We just don't even ask the question sometimes to
yeah. I
find out.
totally agree. I feel like there's nothing wrong. I even had to take Advil the other day. I was almost like, oh my God, nothing's around me. I have to go and take, like there's just,
Right.
it's just coming down to being the biggest advocate for yourself and truly putting in the extra research and just questioning things because I feel like we're so attuned
Hmm.
to we're in the culture right now where it's like buy this, take that, and we just trust so willingly. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, we shouldn't be that willy-nilly about trusting resources that we don't look into deeply ourselves. And I feel like we have such good intuition as humans. Like we should really truly trust our gut. If we feel
Hmm.
like something's wrong or a certain practitioner is not showing up for us, we need to listen to that and we should go and I know it's not as easy to go and research another practitioner and you put all that time and effort into finding someone else to put some of our health in their hands, but it is so worth it. And
Hmm.
once you do it, you're going to be so proud of yourself that you figured out an alternative way, Tennessee alternative medicine, but an
Yes.
alternative way to kind of like to help you heal, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like too, when you're hurting and you're in pain, you're just like, I'll do whatever. Like you don't, it's not even like you're thinking, you're just trying to find relief. So honestly, that's the importance of preventative maintenance care, trying to just go and check in, see how you're doing on a good day. And then when
Right.
you do hit that point where you are in the corner and you feel like you have nowhere to turn, you're like, oh, I have Dr. So and so. I'm going to go and check them
Right.
out. They helped me a lot when I was feeling great, and even when you are feeling great, there's always something you can kind of improve on. What I love about nutrition response testing or functional medicine, like anything, when I'm talking about this stuff, people are always like, where do I go? Like, who do I search? Like, who do I seek out? And I feel
Hmm.
like starting off with, okay, looking up a functional medicine practitioner or someone who does nutrition response testing, something along those lines, like alternative preventative medicine,
Hmm.
going and starting there and having them as a resource is just going to be so great for you to learn more about your body and what it
Right.
likes, and then you'll start to like grow, your supplement list or stuff like that, where you just have stuff in your back pocket if things do arise and you don't know where to turn. So definitely
Yes.
takes the fear aspect out of it when you go and, okay, because what I was going to say with nutrition response testing is I love that when you go into your visit, it's addressed with, okay, how is your digestion? How's your sleep?
Hmm.
How are your bowel movements? Because you should be going 2 to 3 times a day, which people are so scared to
Hmm.
talk about, but I'm like, this is so necessary for full body
Hmm.
wellness. You need to hit those key points, or like, how is your cycle doing? And even just going when you are feeling good, going and getting a
Yes.
checkup just to see as like, okay, like what is my baseline? So that when you do hit that point of where do I go? What do I do? You have
Hmm.
a resource. And I think that's super important.
Yes. I just recently went in to go see Kelly at TN Alt Med, and I know that I'm perimenopausal. I know, shocking, right? But yeah, so I'm thinking the only stories I know about menopause are from my mom telling me about my grandma uh, hiding in the closet and crying. And I thought, I don't want to do that. I don't have time for that. And so as soon as I could
Yeah.
tell things were changing, I went in and I said, what can I do so that I can be high functioning and stabilizing my mood and get good sleep and no hot flashes? And what are your suggestions? And I'm not even in the thick of it, but just hearing her explain things to me and how I should support my liver, and everything goes through your liver, your hormones, everything you're eating and drinking, and everything going on in your body is processing through there. And if it's on overload, then you're going to
Yeah.
show symptoms all over the place. And so your emotions, right, they go through the liver. We're processing everything. So
Yeah.
yeah. So, and then I just am always amazed and fascinated by muscle testing and what happens when you don't even have to believe in it. You just have to allow a
Yeah. No,
practitioner
100%.
to perform muscle testing on you. And it's amazing to me. And I'm thinking this is so much easier than a lot of the other things that we could be doing. So anyway, what are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah. And with anything, like what I said in the beginning on anything holistic, go and be an advocate. Go try it out yourself. See if you like it. And also, if you don't like it the first time, go find somebody else and try it again. Because I
Right.
swear, well, even for chiropractic, we all practice differently. We all have different
Right.
values. We all, have our own thoughts, and that's with any profession. Everyone's their individual self, and they all have their own beliefs on what they believe is right and what they feel like is the best way
Mhm.
to treat others. And so finding people who are genuine is definitely a positive. But with nutrition response testing, you truly just have to try it. Like I go back to when people are like, "Oh, like it's definitely interesting," but I'm like, "Look, how are you breathing right now? You know, how are you sitting here and everything's working?" Like you just have to kind of trust in God and whatever, just that
Self. I
like,
mean, that's a lot
how can
of
we heal
what,
yourself?
um,
Yes.
that's a lot of what, the muscle testing is we know,
Yes.
our subconscious mind knows what's going
That's so
on with
true.
our
Our
body.
intuition knows.
Yes. And so that's what we're asking, right? And we just
Yeah.
are giving the answers like, yeah, I'm a little emotionally overloaded, or yeah, I have a bacteria with a co-infection or whatever. Like your body's going to tell you, and there's supplements that you can take to help all of those things. So anyway,
Yeah,
yeah.
and even what you do too with like energy, like just getting the emotions regulated in the body, that's a huge aspect to healing. Like
Mhm.
my personal experience with my dad, we did it's called NET, neuro emotional technique. And it's the
Nice.
same thing as like
Yep.
nutrition response testing. It was just a baseline of how can we you just go, it's like therapy where you don't even have to say anything. So it's just the
Right.
same thing with, you know, like what you do with energy, like emotion code. You're just
Hmm.
laying there, you're just able to
Yeah.
relax, which
Right.
I've learned in my profession. Everyone just needs anything to de-stress is definitely the
Yes.
key. But figuring out, going off of the body and being able to release those emotions are huge for healing because a lot of the trapped emotions we have, it just makes so much sense to
Hmm.
me because I've just grown up with this lifestyle, but I know all other people are just like, what is this? Like, how is it
Right.
connected? But how,
Right.
how is anything connected? I feel like it's just
Right.
crazy. I think that
Yeah.
there's definitely a key component in healing is figuring out emotionally
Hmm.
how you can release all that trauma. We all have our trauma. We all have our baggage.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
hold on to those emotions and then if you don't release them, they create patterns in your life and they
Yes.
come up again in the future. And, so just being able to let go
Mhm.
is one of the hardest things to do, but definitely a huge step in the right
Yeah.
direction to full body healing. So,
Yes. I mean, treating our bodies, treating self as a whole, right? All the mind,
yeah,
the body, the soul, the emotions, all of it together. And you said, how is it all connected? You get me all started on these, nerd out on all this kind of stuff. 99% of everything is empty space. And even out in space, it's empty space. And it has been proven that in the empty space, there's energy, right? There's plasma, there's all of this energy that is connecting everything all together. And that's how we're connected. And it doesn't mean you get to see it all the time. But you feel it. And if you're listening, it's
yeah,
there. And we are just not tuned in to listening. And I keep getting this more and more recently, and that is visualizing sitting in the car when we had, stereos that had the knob, and just moving it a little bit to the left and missing the station and then going back to the right, and then really just tuning into the frequency so that we can really, really hear it. And so often we just don't we're bombarded with other things, and we're not listening. And our
yeah,
body is trying to tell us, our earth is trying to tell us. And so we need to
yeah.
listen.
A lot of my passion, I feel like, comes from my own experience, like with like what you were just saying. People it's not easy being super connected to your body. It's honestly scary. Things pop up, and when you're so in tune, there's things popping up left and right, and you're like, "What do I do? Where do I go?" And it becomes like
Mhm.
all consuming. And that's where it goes back to my point of how beneficial it is to have external help and to have like Dr. Maxwell, how she is with me, with you, me going and getting treated through the emotion code with you as a practitioner, just having your go-to crew of
Yes.
holistic preventative medicine help because we all have our own experiences and we all have, you know, our why on how we got to where we are and how we got to how we do things. And so it's just like I think it's finding people that want to connect to their body. It's definitely, or just internally trying to dive deeper is not easy to release
Right.
that trauma. So it's just so cool and empowering when you do get to that point, though. For me, obviously, my womanhood, like I feel more in my own skin and more in control because I think that's definitely a huge thing, becoming more in control of your own health. Even though things are popping up and I have to figure it out, at least I'm
Mhm.
able to figure it out. Or, now I know that, I don't have external things coming in. I mean, I do have external things coming in, pollution,
Yeah.
pollen,
Right.
products, all these things, but I am able to kind of be like, okay, I feel this way. Why? Have I felt this way before? Why? What could I do to kind of resolve this? Whether it's
Yes.
emotional healing, whether it's chiropractic, whether it's acupuncture, whether it's physical therapy, like all of these things, they all go hand in hand. There's
Yeah.
no competition in the holistic health and wellness realm, which I think a lot of people think there is. But no, I'm over here like, you're coming to
Mhm.
see me for chiropractic and I need you to do more exercises. I'm like, okay, go to this guy for in between our appointments. Let's get you better on a deeper level quicker so that you can be resolved and go on about your life. And then you've tried different things and now you know like, okay, this helped me with this. Let me go back to that and vice versa. So
Yep.
it's very cool to be in this position.
Absolutely. It is all connected. I agree. And I love that's why I'm always like, tell me what you do. Any new practitioner, tell me the resources that you have so that I can send you people because, yes, we're all connected. A lot of times we don't even have to talk about it. We don't have to share it. We don't have to go back to the emotions that were there or the feelings or, the actual physical pain. We don't have to go back. There's a lot of other therapies out there that help you get through whatever you're ailed with at the moment or suffering from. And you don't have to experience it again. Because I think that's what keeps people stuck is that they don't want to talk
True.
about it. They don't want to feel it. They don't want to feel the shame even of talking about whatever, right? Like, and for some reason we feel that even though something was inflicted upon us. But anyway, I do think it's important that people know that there is help out there. Um, that you don't have to talk about it if that's not your thing. So, anyway, that was something I thought of.
No, absolutely. And that's even why I love what I do. And so I went to Palmer. I was skilled and learned, the technique chiropractic. It's diversified, which is the cracking and popping that you see like on all the social media, TikTok videos. And I love that. And I think it's such a great just chiropractic in general. There's so many different ways to adjust the body and get motion and get movement in a
Mhm,
stagnant, stuffed area. So when I started interning at Dr. Maxfield, she taught me the Logan technique. And
mhm,
so now I've taken what I've learned from her through the Logan technique and diversified and kind of mixed it into my own gentle way of chiropractic care, which fits really well in the office. And it's great. You start at the lower back, like the sacrum, and you slowly move up to the cervical spine. And I'm slowly like kneading out the muscles directly, um, like adjacent to the spine to start
yes.
to activate the parasympathetics to calm the body down. And then I go
Right.
as I slowly loosen up the body and lengthen. I'm able to go back in and create gentle, movement and adjustments. And it's just been so great to see people heal in a space that's very like calming. I think a lot of people come in, they've never been adjusted before, and they're just like,
Mhm.
"What are you gonna do? Are you
Right.
gonna hurt me?" I'm like, "Look, I'm 5'5" on a good day. I'm not gonna hurt you. I really want to help you."
Right.
So, but
Yeah.
it's just getting the knowledge out there. I think a lot of people don't understand the basis of chiropractic, but
No, they don't.
what it does is they do, it's getting motion where you're lacking motion. And I'm sorry, you can't adjust your own back. Going back to you need other people to heal. But
Yep.
it's just sometimes we don't even realize we're holding tension in a certain area. And that could be related to emotional trauma. It could be related to, you
Yes.
know, anything in life, causing your body to be stagnant or stuck in an area. So once we get that spot moving and get you moving better, you're going to feel better. You're going to be more clear. And it's just, we go through our day to day so restricted and tight and stressed.
Mhm.
We're on our phones, we're
Mhm.
always on to the next thing. So when people come to see me for that 15, 30-minute adjustment appointment, they're able just to lay there, get adjusted, get movement, get motion, get things flowing, and they're able to feel what it feels like to feel good. And I think that
Mhm.
is something we all need more of.
Mhm.
Just the realization of like, wow, I was able to find relief in that area that I didn't even know I needed relief in. So it's just
Yes.
such a great profession to just be a part of. And I'm slowly, even with and it's just a great base. Let's just regulate your nervous system, just calm you down. Let's just add motion where you're lacking. And then we can go and, assess where we can go for the next step. How can we dive deeper? So
Yes.
it's great.
Yes. So many times people come in and they're getting a massage and they're in a lot of pain. And I will ask them, do you go to the chiropractor? And I know that sometimes people are like, no, I don't go to the chiropractor and I don't want to. And other times people are like, yeah, I go really, regularly. And the reason why I ask is because muscles are connected to bones. And if your bones are out of
Yes.
alignment, then all of the massaging that I'm doing is not going to do a whole lot when that bone is out of alignment. And I think it's Dr. Maxfield that explains it the very first time I heard it this way is, you can have a bunch of things plugged in to a breaker, right? And then it's just that next thing that you plug in and it just trips the breaker, right? And so, because a lot of times people are like, well,
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. I didn't lift a heavy box or move weird and throw my back out or whatever. But sometimes it's not something physical that we're doing. Sometimes it's something that's just an overload of stress that is on our plate that trips the breaker and causes our sacrum to go out or our neck to go out and our atlas or whatever, right? And then that's it, everything else is going to go out of alignment. And then somewhere along the line, our muscles
Yes.
are going to hurt really bad. We're going to have sciatic pain. We're going to have this crazy neck pain, And so I'm usually the one that gets the people that have that, which is great. I'm grateful that you come to see me. I'm just also trying to help and
Yes.
say, if your bones are out of alignment, I can't do that part. I can massage the heck out of you or be very gentle, whatever works for you. But going to a chiropractor has changed my life. I said it on a previous episode, but it really did. I did not know how good I could feel, and I am plugging chiropractic work now because I previously said I'm not plugging that now. I will plug it now. And what another thing that a lot of times people don't understand is that there are a lot of nerves that are running through and around our bones. And if they are out of alignment, then they're coming through thoracically, through our cervical, or, our sacral area. And it's just gonna mess up a lot of different things. So it's just something to look at. And yes, there are different kinds of approaches, and you got to find the one that fits for you. And also, stay up on it. And sometimes that means like once a week for a little while, and sometimes that means once a month. And whatever works for your body. But I was just telling you, as soon as I get adjusted, I really am really conscious of how I'm holding my body just for the day. And then really
Yeah.
trying to, because if you're lopsided, right, then one muscle's shorter and the other one's longer. And so I'm trying to like get them back into balance so that they don't pull me out of alignment again. So those are just my thoughts about
Yes.
chiropractic work because I'm a big advocate for it, especially with what I do, but also how it changed my life. So thank you for what you do.
Yay. You're
I
welcome.
okay. Okay, I have a question for
No, I
you.
love it. I think that's so awesome. Yes.
Okay. As a young woman, what are your thoughts about birth control and how to take care of your body and the effects that it has on your body? Because I have a lot of clients that are young and they are always talking about side effects that they have or things they're not really sure if that's affecting their mood currently. They're wondering about that, but it's really difficult. It's a big challenge. And so I don't care how old you are, if you're thinking about birth control, like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. So I think I was in like my first 2 years of college. I ended up going on birth control and it dysregulated my whole system. My hormones were out of whack. I was really angry and just a lot of symptoms flared up for me. And it caused me to do some research myself and really dive into like, what am I putting in my body? Why is it causing me to feel this way? And I ended up getting off of it. And I've had a lot of friends that have come to me and talked about it. And they're like, should I get off birth control? Or honestly, where it starts is they'll come to me and they'll be like, I've been having these symptoms. I'm eating
Mhm.
healthy, I'm taking my supplements, I'm working out, but I'm still like feeling like crap, or these things keep popping up. Like, what are your thoughts on that? I'm like, look, you can be throwing, it's like having a cup of water that's fully full and you keep pouring water in, it's just going to continue to overflow with symptoms. So it's like similar going back to
Mhm.
your liver. You know, if you don't clean out the problem, if you don't take away the problem, you're not going to have the solution. So with birth control, it's tough because a lot of people are on it to not get pregnant, to
Mhm.
regulate, their hormones. They think that that's the main thing that is going to calm down their skin issues. But
Mhm.
skin is like the first sign that your body's giving you that your gut is out of whack, out of balance.
Right.
So going back to finding a functional medicine, natural or nutrition response testing person, advocate that can help you find and solve the solution internally first, versus taking this external pill that there's just no, in health and wellness, there's no easy fix.
No.
That's why holistic health is so hard because it's truly it's a never ending. You're never going to get to a point in life where you're like, everything is perfect.
Yep.
I mean, you're going to feel good. That's the main thing. But there's
Sure.
always going to be something in life that's going to pop up. So finding ways, just like I keep going back to like finding, the right practitioners to help you. But with birth control, I what I've seen like back to my friends, they once they've removed, the
Mhm.
problem, they're able to actually start to heal. Because
Mhm.
once you kind of take that away, then you can go back to connecting to your body. And that is honestly so
So true.
incredible to have that gift to feel, all the things you're feeling and find ways to like, okay, this now that I know that it's not the birth control that's causing this, how can I go in deeper and clean out my liver or clean out my gut, all these
Mhm.
things. And it'll, by healing your gut, they call the gut the first brain, honestly, where
Right.
the gut brain connection,
Mhm.
which I'll dive out of that, but going back to that, healing the gut and cleaning out the organs and supporting the organs, honestly, through
Yes.
nutrition, through the foods you eat. Supplements are just an added, benefit. There's a whole different, there's many different things to kind of heal, but when you take away birth control, I really think your body's able to be in a position to relieve yourself of those symptoms. And if you're still like, you're only, as a woman, you're only able to get pregnant a certain few days of the month. And a lot of people, what I've seen, have resorted to using like the Aura Ring,
Yep.
or I believe there's the
Or your Apple
Sunflower or
Watch
something where
or
it takes your temperature,
mhm.
or your Apple
Yes.
Watch, where
Right.
it because the moments that you're ovulating during your cycle, your temperature is going to drop. So those are the
Right.
days you avoid intercourse, and that is definitely one of the ways to protect yourself from getting pregnant. And I think that's a lot of the reasons why people are scared to get off birth control, because they feel like there's
Absolutely.
no other option. Obviously,
Right.
there's a lot of different, or they don't want to use the other options, but it's just
Sure.
important to know that your health is the main priority here. And so if
Yes.
there's ways that you can kind of just to dive deeper on it, and if you are still having these issues within yourself, like sick things keep popping up and
Hmm.
imbalances are happening, just dive deeper and really kind of think about like, is the birth control causing this? Can I feel better? Can I feel better by taking this away?
Right.
And that's important to talk about with your practitioner and your doctor.
Yes.
Those are my thoughts.
Well, I mean, it's this little tiny pill usually. Sometimes it's an injection or an implant or whatever, but um, it's this little tiny pill, but it's stopping
Yeah,
ovulation. That's the point that you're most of the time why you're taking birth control. Um, so it's also masking other things, right? I mean, there's this kind of little tiny disconnect there sometimes between you and what is happening hormonally or what's happening in other parts of our body. And I've definitely seen individuals who had specific birth controls um, feeling just constantly depressed and not understanding or not feeling motivated or having other symptoms in their
yeah,
bodies and not understanding why those are there. And then as soon as they stop taking it, they're like, oh my gosh, I feel like myself again. This is amazing. And then of course
yeah,
having to figure out how to not get pregnant because that was why they were taking it. And so and I completely understand all of that and want to support everyone in their decisions because it's whatever is right for you is right for you. It's just also
yes,
being mindful of your overall health and how you are feeling because a lot of times how we're feeling kind of dictates our whole day. What I found really interesting about birth control was that I was taking it to not get pregnant, but then as soon as I was on it for a long period of time, I just didn't want to have sex at all. Like I just
yeah,
completely
yeah. You
lost
lose.
my libido.
Yes,
I was like, I don't even want you to
yeah,
touch me. Like get away from me, and I'm thinking the whole reason why I was
yeah,
taking this was because I wanted to be sexually active, but not make a human. And
yeah,
now I don't even want you to come near me. And so I'm thinking, what is the point of this whole thing? And then feeling sick or feeling like I had migraines all the time and, just weird stuff.
yeah,
But as soon as I was done taking it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just feel so much better. So, yeah, we got to figure out something because our young women in the world and, our older women, right? We got to figure out
yeah,
how to do this to take care of our bodies and be respectful of everybody. And so, and, if we don't want to make humans, we don't want to make humans yet or ever or whatever. So,
yes. And there's no right or wrong way. Like,
no.
this is not me judging you if you're on birth control.
No,
This is
not at
more so
all.
just
If it
let's
works for you,
talk
it works
about
for
it.
you.
Let's
Great. Yes, let's talk
Yes,
about it.
it works for you, it works for you, and it's just important to just talk about it. I think there's so many topics that people feel hesitant to bring up, but no, this
Yes,
is this is your period, your cycle is what connects you. It's your superpower as a woman. Like that is
absolutely.
how you create children. Like that is such a miracle. And so with
Mhm,
birth control, what it does is it shuts it down. It creates
mhm.
a fake cycle. You're not really having
Yep,
that true cycle where your cycle, when you're on menstruation, that part of your cycle is where that's like the hugest detox for your body as a woman. That is
yes.
another way you are expelling toxins from your body. And so when we're on birth control, it's kind of like shutting that up and it's disconnecting from our superpower. And like,
Mhm.
that's just such a huge thing to talk about, and it's just so important that it shouldn't be hush hush. It should be talked about more
No,
because we're able to create life. Like that is wild. And so,
I know, it's
being
amazing.
disconnected from that is just going to cause so many issues. And granted, this is why I go back to finding a functional medicine practitioner, nutrition response testing, any agent where they can help support you if you decide to get off. So if you decide to get off of birth control or you're trying to re-regulate your system, even off of it, having a resource like that to help support
Mhm.
you and support the organs to clear out whatever toxic buildup has been in the body is just so important to even like know that that's an option, because I think we just feel like we're
Absolutely.
stuck we're like, okay, I'm off birth control. But I mean,
Yeah.
some of my friends, they'll get off birth control and they've been eating healthy and they've built that
Yes.
toward it for so long that they'll get off and it's an easy transition. So
Right.
that's a positive to talk about because I think a lot of people are scared to get off because they feel like it's gonna, stuff's gonna hit the fan, you know? So it's
Hmm.
good to know that that it's always, each individual is going to have their own individual experience, but it's important to talk
Yes.
about for sure.
Yes. And just taking that control back and that power back, that this is our body. It's a beautiful, magnificent thing. I mean, really, our bodies are amazing, and just taking that power back and being able to be respectful about it. And I keep coming back to that word because I keep thinking, there's so many times we just disregard the fact that this is a really powerful thing, and it's okay to kind of be like, I need some space for a little while. My body's going through something, and I got to figure it
Yeah.
out. And once you get it figured out, it's extremely powerful. I was gonna say too, this kind of goes along the same lines. You don't have to suffer with um, very, very heavy periods or very long duration of a period, or, PMS around your cycle time, whatever. I mean, you don't have to suffer with that. There is help for that isn't birth control.
Yes.
So, just understanding that there are alternative ways of healing your body and helping support your body. And sometimes there's a reason why that's happening. And so instead of just going straight for, birth control, which is great if that works for you, but if it's not working for you, there is an alternative, something that we don't really talk
Yes.
about.
No, we don't talk about alternatives at all. And even like I could even give a few off the top of my head for just further deeper healing and going even back to what you were saying about chiropractic, like as chiropractors, we're musculoskeletal doctors. Like we're working
Right.
out the muscles as well as the spine and just kind of getting movement in there. But there's only so much I can do on a certain level until you need to go and get deeper muscle work or go find a body work, or there's a bunch of different tools
Right.
out there um, for deeper healing. I even use, I don't know if you've ever tried it, but the PEMF, the pulse
Yeah,
electric magnifying
absolutely.
frequency therapy is my favorite thing ever because it's just
Yes.
a tool that I've incorporated in treatment that people just go, they can lay down and it hits everyone in a certain area. And wherever you're imbalanced, it's going to start to give your cells energy. We're made up of cells. Cells need ATP to thrive, and the machine itself goes in there and you start to feel a pulse, like you feel something. So I think connecting feeling to healing is so important. And um, so just healing hands, all the things, because you are the same way with your
Hmm.
massage and the motion code, all the things are connected. I
Hmm.
mean, we can dive deeper even on like the laser treatments. Like
I was going to ask you.
there's so
So talk
many, it's
talk
so
about
important.
the laser that you're using currently, if you want to give the name to it, and what it does, because I've experienced it and I know it works.
We've had, since my dad's a chiropractor, we've had, it's called, the brand is called Erconia lasers. And we've had them since I was in high school. And my first experience with one of them was I was a golfer in high school and I like tweaked my wrist. And so this is actually such a funny story because it's so bizarre. But I tweaked my wrist, I got it adjusted, and then my dad's like, throw an ice pack on it. And I didn't even think about it twice. I just take one of our industrial ice packs we have in the fridge and I threw it on my arm, cold turkey, like it was no towel. And it ended up burning through my skin. I ended up being a science experiment as a kid.
What
It
not
ended up
to do?
burning through my skin, causing second-degree burns.
No.
Okay. My arm was like this. Yes, it was really bad. They were
Gosh.
like, the doctor went to the ER. He was like, you're gonna have scars. Like, it's not gonna heal. We ended up putting the laser on it every day for like, I swear, a month. Like, I don't even know how long, but I have no scars. It fully, completely healed. And so like that was my first realization, like, wow, this is an amazing
Hmm.
tool. Um, and we've just any ailment in the house. And on my family, I have three younger siblings. Throw the laser on it, or
Yeah.
we would bring it on family vacations, or you know, someone
That's
stubbed their
awesome.
toe or skinned their knee. I'd just throw the laser on,
Yeah. That's so
throw the
cool.
laser on it, and so as I've grown up with it, and I've gone to a bunch of conventions, and my dad's learned more about the company, and he's gone to a ton of seminars. We've invested like in two more lasers, and he has one in his office in
That's
Sugar
awesome.
Falls, Ohio, one of the industrial ones. And then I have a
That's so
handheld
cool.
here in Tennessee. And it's been so cool to use
Mhm.
it on people because I think a lot of times when people see red light, it's just a light shining on you. For people to
Right.
connect that it's actually healing on a deeper level, it's hard. So
Mhm.
what I know is that what's so great about the company is it's a family run company. Everything that they do is backed by clinical research. So any sort of protocol in the book, whether it's to help heal tonsillitis, whether it's um, inflammation of the liver, you have a cut on your knee, you have a skin rash, like anything along those lines, there's a protocol in the book that directly is associated for those symptoms. And you could go and shine the light on it, and it's going to immediately target that area and promote deep healing. It's going to bring blood flow to the area. It's just you're going back to your body's made up of cells. Your cells need
Mhm.
energy to thrive, and when they're weak and they're not thriving, they're not able to do their job.
Right.
So if your liver, the cells are weak and they're just stagnant and lethargic, the red light laser is going to help boost that area and start to get things moving. And so when
Yes.
I do my laser treatments, I'll palpate the area. So a lot of people have been coming in for someone had an inflamed gallbladder. So I've been palpating the gallbladder, and I'll be like, okay, rate this out of 1 to 10. How is this feeling for you? And
Mhm.
they'll usually be like, okay, it's like 7 out of 10. I'll throw the laser on, do the laser protocol for an inflamed gallbladder, cholecystitis. Then I'll palpate after, and I swear every single time they're like, wow, I'm not even joking, but the
Yeah.
pain, it is way less sore. It has gone down.
Right.
And that just having that response is so like motivating for me because I know it's working. I know it's helping to heal. It's a non-invasive way to heal, which there's just not a lot of options out there that people understand about. Like so
Nope.
many of my
Right.
patients, they'll people who have had like torn ACLs or a broken bone, and you know, they're just told to put a cast on it, to, you know, do your exercises and put a cast on it. But that's not really giving you the relief that you need. And so
Right.
by utilizing the PEMF or the laser, like it's just a targeted, backed by science research that is just going to help you improve versus you
Right.
doing nothing. So it's just
Yes.
so great to have those tools. And I've just seen so many positive results from it. And it's fun to incorporate it with chiropractic because I'll be able to adjust and feel where they're tight and tense. And I'll be like, look, do you want me to put the laser on the muscle in that area? And
Yeah.
almost instantly afterwards, they're like, oh, wait, it's not as sore. And that's the same way as when I incorporate adjustments. It's just sometimes you get stagnant in those areas, and adding some movement is going to create less pain because it's not, in the spine is not, they're not individual discs that move. It's like you move as a whole. So whenever you're
Right.
tight, you can kind of tweak to one area. So when you get loosened up, it brings you back to balance, and it causes full alignment in the body, and things can just move better and you'll feel better and all the things. But yeah, I love the laser. It's great. It's a great tool to have. And it's just
It
another way
is.
where I can just, you know, really help people on a deeper level because I cannot adjust you to a cellular level. So it's cool to
No,
have
and
that. It's cool to have that tool.
that's the that's the point that I'm glad you brought up about the
Yeah.
cells because that's what it's doing. Light therapy is going straight to your cells and getting out of the
Yeah.
way what's stuck and then regenerating what needs to happen. There needs to be new cells and blood flow and energy there. And
People just
mhm,
don't know. So it's just
right.
important to talk about and going and try it yourself. But it is awesome, the
Yes.
benefits and the positive reactions I've seen. And they even have a podcast. the laser light show, which the
Oh,
first couple
sweet.
episodes talk deeply about, what the laser does and like how it works and how it was created. And then a lot of people have come on and talked about, their own experience with it. And even me and my dad were actually on it too. But it's just cool to like
Oh, cool.
know that there's a community out there that are using it, and then hearing people's positive um, responses from the laser treatment is pretty amazing. So it's
Yeah.
cool.
So I'd really love to ask you a couple of questions about your own healing journey. As you have held space for others and their healing, how has that impacted your own healing and your own healing journey?
I feel like it is crazy. You see patterns. Now that I've like consistently worked at this office, I feel like certain days I'll come in and everyone has like a migraine that day, or you
Mm,
just see like certain emotional things, and people will just bring up stuff that they've been dealing with. And it's just crazy because a lot of it connects to my own life and the ways that I've worked through my own healing. And even some days I don't know the answer, but it's caused me to think deeper on, okay, I've never had that as an issue before, but how can I learn more about it? How can I show up better for that person next time? And then, who knows, down the line, I'll probably have something like that. But it's just interesting to connect to the patients, and like we're all going through very similar things. Not a lot of people are talking about it, which honestly, not everything is meant
right.
to be talked about. But it's great to be in the profession that I am, to be that safe space for those people, because um, I've always desired that as like a young
Mm,
kid, just trying to find people who I'm inspired by, who show up for me, who are genuine and want to help the best that they can. And I just want to be that person for everyone. I do not have all the answers, but with the tools that I do have and the experience that I do have from with my father, my own life, um, I just try to show up every day as authentic as I can, and use anything and everything that I can to help heal them. So
yeah.
it's been super awesome to be fully in the clinical space to finally give back.
And so
Yeah.
how do you heal this, right? Like what are your things? What do you do? What are your spiritual practices? What are your day to day that you really rely on that bring you back to center and to self?
So I would say I've you go in cycles with things. You go through spurts of intense healing, and then you take a break. You're like, oh, I'm chilling, I feel good. And then you hit something and you're like, okay, I gotta get back into it and dive deeper. And so I've always been an athlete. I love pushing myself, and I've tried CrossFit, I've done Muay Thai, I've done like all of the things, and each phase of life they've brought me different benefits. But I've kind of this past fall I hit a point where I'm like, wow, I need to take a step back from all this high intensity weightlifting, pushing myself, and kind of go back to the basis of what my profession is, which is mobility is medicine. And
Right.
so this is what I preach to a lot of my patients, is finding a balance. So you could be a high intensity runner, but are you focusing on working out the fascia, making movement a priority? Because if you're having, if you're stuck in a certain area, if you can't touch your toes and then you go and run 20 miles, you're going to be in a lot of pain. Your body is not functioning to the best of its ability. So
Mm,
practicing what I preach, I really dove back into yoga, and I was in a little bit of Pilates for a little while, until I fully deep dove into yoga because I wanted to become an instructor. So I was consistently going, and I have been consistently going. I still have a membership, but one of the ways that it just helped me to fully learn going through the training, honestly, you don't even have to be going through training to become a teacher. I solely was doing it to connect deeper to my own body and just really understand, like, okay, why am I stuck? Why can I not reach for my right foot, but I can reach for my left? Like, why is my
right.
right side of my hip tighter? And, obviously getting adjusted helps to move that, but how can I deepen, those movements on my own? So that when I do show up to the chiropractor, they're able to get deeper and they're able to, you
Right.
know, excel in my progress. Me diving into yoga and just learning about alignment within my own body and just loosening up the tight areas. And that's an emotional release in and of itself. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
when you're so stuck and you finally release and you're able to stretch and touch your toes, sometimes you cry, sometimes you release a layer of you didn't even know you were carrying. So
Yeah.
it's been
The
so
issues are in the
awesome.
tissues.
Yes,
The
it's
issues
just
are in the tissues.
the fascia. I
Mm.
love the fascia. Anything
Yes.
having to do with that, learning, it's like the layer underneath your skin. When anything's stuck in the spine, the
Yes.
muscles get tight, and then the fascia creates those adhesions, those knots. So loosening that up, I was just
Mm-hmm.
trying to hit it at all areas. So I was going to my yoga, going to
That's
the
right.
getting adjusted, doing massage, doing emotional work. I've been doing
Eating
I love
good.
cell core. I've been doing the cell core
Yep.
cleanses just to try to
Yep.
detox the system, parasite cleanses. There's a bunch of stuff out there, and all of it sounds like crazy, but it's important to just dive your toe in it. Just learn a little bit at a time, but finding a practitioner that is advocating for themselves. Like, who is someone that's showing
Yes.
up each day? And you could just tell it on their skin. You could just tell that they're
Yes.
healthy, that they're putting the work in. And a lot of the times, some days at chiropractic, I show up and I'm not my best self. I'm like, shoot, I should have done better today. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
little tired from the night before, or,
Right.
vice versa. But my best
Because you're
days are,
human.
I work long days. I'm human. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
human. You're not going to be perfect. Like, even me
No.
doing yoga, like, there's some days I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever. Or like, I can't touch my toes today. I'm super tight.
Yeah.
I'm stressed. But then you go up the next day and you're like, wow, I feel like a new woman. I'm amazing and
Yeah.
all these things. So it's like going in
But you're
waves with stuff.
doing it. You're doing it. And it's
Yes,
like,
you're
it's that
doing
whole
it.
thing. If you're doing it most of the time, then you're going to see a lot of benefits, honestly. And
Yes,
like you
that's so
said,
true.
it shows in your skin. It shows when you walk in the room. It shows in your smile. And are you, and how you're feeling, right? Like, how are you feeling?
Yes,
What are your thoughts, when you're really conscious of the thoughts that are going through your mind, are they like, I really can't stand myself, I'm a loser? No, they're like, I feel really
yeah, that's so
good.
true.
I'm happy. I like
Yeah,
my life. This is great. I'm happy to be here and help people. And it changes. That's that whole spiral up, right? That making the shift and changing your, raising your vibration, and you can literally feel it through your whole
yes,
body. And so can everyone else. So, good for
that's
you.
so true.
And you're,
Yeah, and I
you're
feel like you're,
always,
I was just saying what you just said. Like, I think it never gets easy to wake up before work and go exercise. I don't think
no.
there's ever a day where I'm like, woo, like,
Woohoo. Yeah.
let's go get them. But afterwards, I feel so, but I strive
Yes.
for the feeling after and how I
Yes.
can slowly get ready for work. And then I feel the best in my own skin and my own body, and I can show up better for other people. And I can finally
Yes.
be in a space where I'm like, okay, tell me all your problems, and I'll actually be healed
Yes.
enough to listen? So that's like a
Yes.
huge part of it. And just, yeah, any sort of exercise, whatever you do, like,
Yes. Move your
just
body.
the consistency of it is going to build
Mhm.
confidence.
Yes.
Even me coming on this podcast, is this like a normal thing for me to do? Yeah, no, I was a little nervous, and we're all nervous. So, like, on things, but
I'm
people don't
nervous.
aren't as vulnerable to talk about that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, we're all
Yeah.
doing the best we can. No one has any answers.
No.
We're just kind of just showing up every day, and the best way you can show up for others is showing up for yourself. So that's like the main key in it
I
all.
love it. Yeah. You're
Yay.
awesome. I always I
So
love
are
it when I'm
you.
in my I love it when I'm in my room and I see you walk by and you're just like, "All right, I'm on my way." It's like you're just I just love it. It's so precious. So, and I know you're just being so mindful, and I'm grateful for that. And you're just I'm so proud of you. Like, you are doing
Thank
it,
you.
like all of this work that you've put in, and no one can ever take that away from you. And you will be
So
so
true.
glad. You'll look back years from now and you'll be like, I am so glad I put in all that work, because I mean, not only are you feeling good and you're helping others, but it's going to pay off for years and years and generations to come. So I really admire all of your work, and thank you for being here and talking about all the stuff. And I want people to find you. So how do they find
We
you?
have an Instagram. It's just Dr. Dot Cassandra Heathcote. And then that's also my TikTok handle too. So
Sweet.
we're out there
Okay.
trying to
We're out
get
there
more
doing
information out there.
it.
And
Yeah.
yeah, we're out there doing it. And I don't know, it's just
I'm
because
going to
it's just finding your tribe, finding the
absolutely. I was
people
just going to
that
say that
you can
your
be
vibe is your tribe,
really
and
your
your
vibe
vibe
and
is
your
your tribe.
tribe. Yep.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I started this because I wanted to have the conversations. Like
Yeah.
for so long I was thinking I want to have these conversations. I want to talk about all this stuff, and I want to talk about it with people who believe it or don't believe it or don't know or whatever. Like, let's talk about it. What do you think? And so that's why I wanted to do a podcast so that we could talk about it all. Um Awesome.
Well, it's
So I
great.
will put all that stuff in the link along with, I want to
Okay.
make sure and do a huge shout out to Tennessee Alternative Medicine in Franklin, Tennessee. Dr. Maxfield is amazing. She's created an amazing group of people, and you should check out the website at Tennessee Alternative Medicine. And Becca has been with Dr. Maxfield. She's an amazing nutritionist and muscle tester, and she is a fabulous practitioner. And Kelly, and now Dr. Heathcote, and Betsy does cranial sacral work. And we also have, also new to the practice is Dr. Stevens. She is a prenatal and pediatric chiropractor. So an amazing team, along with all the other practitioners and counselors and therapists that are in Tennessee Alternative Medicine. Please go check them out and look for Dr. Heathcote. She's amazing, chiropractor, yogi, and whole body wellness. So I love you. Thank you for being here today. Heal this,
Love you
right?
too. So happy
Raise
to
your
be here.
vibration. Yep. Do it. All right. Have a good
Yes.
one.
We could all heal together. Let's go.
Let's go.